We've heard a lot about Jeffrey Epstein over recent times, his crimes, his connections, and the powerful people who surrounded him. But among all the speculation, one name keeps coming up: Donald Trump, who just so happens to unfortunately be our president again, right now. But today is significant. It's a new development in the already shocking Epstein saga. These are Epstein's own emails, written in his own words, and in them he describes Trump as somebody who knew about the girls, and somebody whose lies could be used as leverage. We're going to walk through those emails, explain what they reveal, and ask the question that still hasn't been answered. What did Trump really know? And why has so much of this story been kept from the public?
Congressman, when did you get this information?
We actually just received all of these emails, with a total of about 23,000 documents, actually a few days ago, so last week. And we've been going through, our team, of course, through all of these very carefully over the last few days. We obviously released some today. We'll be releasing additional documents likely later today. The important thing here is that we know, and we've been demanding, that Donald Trump and the DOJ release the full Epstein files. In what's been released today, which obviously is some quite serious, I think, connections between what Donald Trump may have known. There's communication between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, obviously making some claims about Donald Trump spending significant time, hours, with possibly one of the victims. There's also disturbing emails there about Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. The people can read for themselves. I think what's important right now is that we want to know why Donald Trump spent the entire campaign saying that he would release the files. And now that he's in the White House, there is a massive cover-up going on. The survivors deserve the truth.
House Democrats just released emails from Jeffrey Epstein's personal archive. Shockingly, they're about Donald Trump, and they are damning. Let me start with the simplest one. In 2019, Epstein wrote to this author, Michael Wolff.
John, these are emails that show Jeffrey Epstein mentioning Donald Trump by name multiple times in private correspondence that he had with people including Ghislaine Maxwell, obviously his longtime associate and accomplice, and also the author, Michael Wolff, in a time span of about the last 15 years or so in these emails. Now, these are coming out from the House Oversight Committee. They had issued a bipartisan subpoena to Jeffrey Epstein's estate, John, as you know, earlier this year. And so they've gotten their hands on a trove of documents. And these are emails that included Jeffrey Epstein on them. They were sent either to him or from him that mentioned Donald Trump before he was in office and also while he was in office during his first term. And I want to walk you through these emails of what exactly we are reading in Jeffrey Epstein's own words in these emails that have been released by the House Oversight Committee. And in one of them, Jeffrey Epstein says, and I should note, Trump did not send or receive any of these messages. He's not a party to these emails, John, but these are emails from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell. This is one from April 2nd, 2011. And in this email, Jeffrey Epstein writes to Ghislaine Maxwell and says, quote, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. There's a name that's redacted, which the House Oversight Committee has said is a victim of Jeffrey Epstein's. Obviously, we have not been able to independently confirm that."
Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop and think about what that sentence means. Trump knew about the girls. That's Epstein saying Trump was aware that he and Ghislaine Maxwell were bringing young girls to Mar-a-Lago. And Trump's response, he didn't call the police, he didn't ban them. He asked Maxwell to stop doing it in his club. I had no idea. That's please don't do that here where I can see it. Now let me show you the other emails because they get worse. In 2011, Epstein wrote to Ghislaine Maxwell, "The dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim's name, who has been redacted, spent many hours at my house with him. He never once mentioned." What does that mean? It means a victim spent hours at Epstein's house with Trump, and that victim never mentioned Trump publicly. And Epstein is noting that Trump's silence, Trump's name not coming up, is valuable. The dog that hasn't barked is a reference to Sherlock Holmes in a story where a dog didn't bark during a crime. And that silence was a clue. That dog should have barked. The fact that it didn't meant something. Epstein is saying that Trump should have been mentioned by now. The fact that he hasn't been is significant. Trump staying quiet has value to me. Maxwell writes back, "I haven't been thinking about that, ... She understood what he meant. Now, here's the really dark turn. In 2015, author Michael Wolff emails Epstein, warning him that CNN is about to ask Trump about their relationship. Wolff asks, what should Trump say? Epstein's response is chilling. He asks Wolff to help him craft an answer for Trump. Wolff replies with this: if Trump lies and says he was never on the plane or at the house, that gives you valuable political currency. You can hang with him, or you could save him, generating a debt. Let me break that down. If Trump lies publicly about knowing about Epstein, then Epstein has leverage over him. Epstein could expose the lie and destroy Trump politically, or Epstein could stay quiet or dead, and Trump would owe him. That's blackmail. That's exactly how blackmail works. Epstein is discussing and writing how to use Trump's lies as political leverage, how to either destroy him or control him. And this is in 2015. Trump is running for president, and Epstein is strategizing about how much power he has over him. So let's summarize what these emails tell us. 1, a victim spent time at Epstein's house with Trump. 2, Epstein has noted that Trump has never once been mentioned by victims and found that valuable. 3, Epstein and a journalist discussed how to use Trump's potential lies as blackmail, and now he's dead. 4, Epstein explicitly stated that Trump knew about the girls and asked Maxwell to stop bringing them to Mar-a-Lago. Now, does this prove Trump committed crimes? Not in a court of law. No crime is publicly Trump, but it proves Trump was not some innocent guy who had no idea what Epstein was doing. Trump knew. Trump was present when victims were there. Trump's response was to ask them to stop doing it at his property. That's complicity. That's knowing a crime is happening and choosing to not report it because reporting it would be inconvenient to Trump. Here's why this matters right now. The Department of Justice under Trump's administration says they've investigated Epstein and found no evidence of blackmail. No client list. Nothing to see here. But they're refusing to release the 20,000 pages of documents that House Democrats subpoenaed. A bipartisan subpoena. Both parties asked for these files, and the DOJ has only released a tiny little fraction of them. These emails, the Democrats didn't get them from the DOJ. They subpoenaed Epstein's estate directly, and the estate handed over 23,000 documents right over to them. So the question is, if there's nothing incriminating in those DOJ files, why won't Trump's administration release them? And here's what's happening politically right now. Republicans are saying Democrats are cherry-picking emails to make Trump look bad. They're saying Democrats are withholding other documents that mention Democrats. Democrats are saying Trump's DOJ is engaged in a cover-up. Both sides are accusing the other of playing politics. But here's what's not political. The actual content of these emails. Epstein wrote in his own words that Trump knew about the girls. That's not a Democrat saying it. That's not a Republican saying it. That's dead Jeffrey Epstein saying it before he... And Epstein discussed explicitly how to use Trump's lies as political leverage. This is not like my interpretation. That's what the email said. Now, some people will say this is old news. Epstein died in 2019. Maxwell's in prison now with a puppy. Everyone already knew Trump and Epstein were friends back in the day. But here's why that's wrong. The sitting president of the United States, in his second term, was close friends with a man who ran an international child sex trafficking ring. Besties. According to that man's own emails, the president knew what was happening and asked them to stop doing it at his property. Not stop doing it, take it offline. Now, that president's Department of Justice is refusing to release the full investigation files. This isn't like ancient history. This is happening right now. The cover-up is happening right now actively. 20,000 pages of documents exist. We're not allowed to see them. The man they're currently talking about is our president. His attorney general is the one refusing to release them, Pam Bondi. Let me put it even more simply. Imagine if these emails were about any other president. Imagine if we had emails from Epstein saying Obama or Biden knew about the girls and discussed blackmailing them. Would we accept the DOJ saying nothing to see here while refusing to release the files? Or would we riot and demand to see everything? I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. If you're in those, get the fuck out of here. Show us something that the people suspected and prove it. Epstein had leverage over powerful men. He collected that leverage deliberately. He discussed using it strategically, and one of those powerful men is the president right now. That's why this matters. Not because the emails prove Trump committed crimes, but because they prove Trump was aware. He knew. Trump was involved enough that Epstein considered him manageable through blackmail, and Trump's current administration is blocking access to the full truth? This is bananas. And if you've enjoyed this video or it's expanded your perspective, share it with a friend. Subscribe, hit that subscribe button. I am Lauren P across all social channels, and we'll be back with more. Go team. Yay.